All right, welcome back to another end of day post wave report with yours truly, the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave price trigger reports. This is our special Take Back Friday edition where we take a look at the weekly charts to see what the probabilities are of the markets either shift changing in direction or continuation more of the same. So we take a look at what we can expect going into the weekend and going into next week. All right, so this is our spotlight. Tonight we're gonna spotlight our cryptos. We're looking at cryptos. Okay, this one here is an actual ETF. All right, so it's an equity you can trade, and this is Zcash. All right, and you can see here so far this market is setting up for a primary crash alert going into next week. All things considered, we'll have to see how the market closes tomorrow since this is an equity. It will end the week tomorrow when tomorrow's close, and we'll see how this market sets itself up. For actual cryptos, your Friday begins now, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard New York time on Thursday evening and runs until 6 p.m. Eastern Standard New York time on Sunday evening. That's a Friday for cryptos. I didn't create that. I didn't make it up. This is just how they built and designed these markets and exchanges. All right. So we'll see how this one moves and closes tomorrow. All right, the next thing we got on here is XRP Ripple. All right, so far this one's setting up for a primary crash alert going into next week as well. We'll see what can happen. I mean, you do have some buying interest spilt over from where you had this run a few days ago, and looks like the bears though are starting to take some profit off the table and possibly push the market back down. You have this parabolic bar, which is going to possibly act as a consolidation bar going and lasting for several weeks or even a couple of months. So just prepare yourself for that one. All right, looking at theta. All right, so the weekly chart is still messed up on this one, so I have to switch it to a daily, but you'll get the idea here. The market is trying to put in some sort of support bottom, possibly. All right, that's what we have so far. We'll see what can happen, but you've now crossed from the red zone back into the green zone. So it looks like the market's going to try to make a run toward the top of the Kumo cloud here. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens because you do have increasing selling pressure also. So that's telling me that the bears are taking this little green shoot, little pop up, this little mini rally on an intraday basis, using it as an opportunity to pile on some more shorts. So I know not what you want to hear, but that's what it's looking like so far in theta. All right, this next one is another ETF. These ETFs are by a company called Grayscale. All right, this one is your Stellar Lumens. All right, and the ticker is GXLM. And so far, this looks like it wants to set up for a crash alert going into next week as well. So all things being equal, looks like we will be looking for a sell-off coming next week in this particular security. All right, next up we have GDLC, which is the Grayscale Digital Large Units. I don't know what all that means, but nevertheless, that's the ticker. And likewise, it looks like it's setting itself up for a primary crash alert going into next week. All right, next up we have the granddaddy of Bitcoin ETFs, the GBTC. And yes, right now it's looking like it's setting itself up for a primary crash alert on this weekly chart as the market has retreated after bumping up against the bottom of the Kumo cloud. Next up, we have the Ethereum ETF. The ticker on this one is ETHE. And this one too looks like it's setting itself up for a primary crash alert going into next week as the market is looking like it's about to fall out of the Kumo cloud and possibly go into free fall. And the interesting thing is that you are still technically consolidated, but you got this increased buying momentum. So I don't know if this is spillover from the previous few days, but you may have some bulls try to come in here and defend the bottom of the Kumo cloud. We'll see who wins the success. We'll see how this market closes tomorrow, but I think it's going to head lower. All right, next up we have Ethereum Classic. This is an ETF also. The ticker is ETCG, and it's also by Grayscale. And we already came into this week on this security under the auspices of a primary crash alert. And yes, this security did give you some downside production this week. Will it extend going into next week? It's looking like it just may do that, as the market gave an overbought indication here from the, you see this increasing buying momentum. Well, I think that's what is making the bearish pounce on this one. So very interesting to see how this one closes going into next week. I know you got this massive bullish pointer from the week of May the 7th of 2021 that hasn't been reconciled. So at some point the market will have to come and reconcile and rally up to those levels. But for now, all I see is weakness. All right, this right here is Coinbase, and the ticker is COIN. Everyone knows who Coinbase is. So far, it's setting itself up also for a crash alert going into next week as well. So it looks like this one wants to drop below $130 a share. Uh-oh. Got to look out for that one. I might participate in that one. I kind of like that one. I have to make a note to myself. I may want to short that if I can. Okay, the next one is BITO. It's BITO. This is a new Bitcoin ETF, and it has a primary crash alert as well. You can see it's under a longer corrective posture, spill off from the bullish momentum from the run up. But I think they're quickly covering those longs, and that's adding to the downward pressure. I think the market wants to go down here to the top of the Kumo cloud, or between 22 and 21-ish. So I see more downside to come in Bitcoin. I mean, all indications that we've seen so far is telling us that Bitcoin wants to go lower. Next up is ADA Cardano. So you had the nice run up from the primary rally alert. So you had 2 weeks of rallying. Now the market is looking like it wants to go down. It wants to start to head back down and correct. Didn't even make it up to the bottom of the Kumo cloud here. So I don't know if this buying will continue. It's still here. It hasn't dropped off yet. We'll see how the market closes tomorrow. But this right here, this is interesting. Will the bulls defend and run this up some more? I don't know. But if we were to really break this chart down, you have to admit the week of January the 21st of 2022 is a bullish pointer. All right, this bearish pointer from way back here did get taken out, but this bullish pointer hasn't been reconciled. So maybe the market wants to get some more uplift to it to take this out before heading back down. I don't know. I can only go back from what I see now, and it's looking like it could have a possibility of going south into next week. All right, next is Ethereum. Okay, here's our Ethereum futures. And futures looks to be leading the cash lower. All right, so you had a nice little run up here, but it looks like the market is ready to actually pull back some here. So that's very interesting as well. All right, so if that happens, then the bottom of the Kumo cloud is in play, and that'll take Ethereum south of 2,500, which is looking likely. Can the bulls defend and keep the price action above the Kumo cloud? I don't know. So far, it's looking like they're really trying to, but I think they are failing. All right, so we'll see what happens. Anything can happen. Last but not least is the mighty Bitcoin itself. Here's your Bitcoin futures. And as you can see here, we're setting up for a primary crash alert going into next week. Yes, you're in the Kumo cloud, but it looks like this nice little rally that you enjoyed from the last rally alert from the week of March the 18th has finally come to a head, and the market wants to roll over and fall outside of the Kumo cloud. If that happens, there could be a very precipitous drop. Bitcoin could get quite severe, drop below the 30 to 35,000 old support, and actually fall even further than that. It could get scary. Just FYI, as these markets are doing what they do. All right, so you know what to do. Smash that like button. And remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'm out. Everyone have a great and safe weekend.